I got to tell you guys that we are in this together. You know, pushing 70 years old, I've been through some of the same things that you're going through right now with a narcissist in your life. Not the exact same things, obviously, but you know, I've been there, I've done that. Let's talk together. Let's just kind of mull over some of these things so you can learn from my experience and other people can learn from your experiences if you care to share those in the comments section. But what we're talking about now is 13 things that you should never do with a narcissist. And I got to tell you, I have learned these 13 things, and there's probably more, but 13 things, I've learned these the hard way. I mean, I've been burned many times, and I think you have too. So let's get together, talk about this. But the first thing that comes to mind, even before we dig into this, is that you don't know the narcissist is a narcissist when you first meet him or her, you know, because they're real friendly. They're your buddy. Maybe they pretend to have a crush on you and they are trying to catfish you, but you don't know that. They're trying to reel you in to be a love interest. You got no idea what's going on here. So some of these things, well, really, all of these things, come to think of it, are really challenging at the very beginning because you don't know what's a narcissist. So how can you not do something with a narcissist if you don't know that it's a narcissist? Here's what I have learned to do the hard way, is I have learned to suspect, I know it sounds a little bit paranoid, but I have learned to suspect that everyone could possibly be a narcissist, but I give them all the benefit of the doubt. Still, I use these 13 principles when somebody new enters into my life, which as I get older, that doesn't happen nearly as much. But for you younger people out there, man, you go to work, you go to school, whatever you do, live in a neighborhood, if you're middle aged, you're always coming in contact with new people. Now, I'm not saying that just assume everyone is a narcissist, but I'm saying, at least this is what I do. I assume that everyone may be a narcissist. So, I'm a little bit guarded, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just plain common sense. What are some of these? Oh, by the way, got to say this, the most obvious thing, the best thing, I saved till number 13. Saved it to the very last. Why? Well, because you save the dessert to last, save the best to last. Plus, it's kind of a trick to get you to watch the whole video. So that's why we do that. Number one is never befriend them. Now, this kind of goes back to what I just got done saying. And that is, you don't know they're narcissists. So how can you not befriend somebody? Let's say, I like to take long walks. I do this almost every day, 2.5 miles or so. For some of you, that's not long. But for me, my age, yeah, that's kind of a long walk. And when I'm making my walk around the neighborhood, you meet people. Now, most of the people in my neighborhood, I've lived here for decades, I already know them. But new people move in. Then you got to get to know those people. And what I've learned is to be friendly, but don't befriend. There's a huge difference between that. So some new guy moves in, and he may see me walking around, or maybe he's walking around, and we stop and chat a little bit. So I'm going to befriend this guy. And I'm going to be friendly, rather, to this guy. But I'm not going to befriend him until I get to know him very, 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 very well. And even then, you never know, because I've had narcissists in my life, or people with strong narcissistic characteristics that they didn't surface. I mean, they were friends or friendly for years, and they didn't surface till much, much, much later. I mean, yeah, they strung me along for a very long time, and then I noticed they do that to other people as well. So don't befriend them. Be friendly, that's okay. But don't befriend them. Be friendly if you don't know they're a narcissist. If you do know they're a narcissist, probably don't be friendly at all. Number two is do not trust or confide in these people. Now, just as kind of a basic principle, one of the dumb things that I've done over the years of my life, particularly when I was younger, I would share confidential information with people. I would share them, maybe my plans. I love business. I love to be in business. Sometimes I talk to people about my business plans and, thinking, we're just having a casual conversation. It's not going to go any further than just the two of us. And the next thing I know, everybody's talking about Ken's stupid business plans. Well, it turns out they weren't so stupid because I actually did fairly well in business. But what happens is people will try to squash I don't know why they do this, but they try to squash your plans, or at least they'll make a joke out of it, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, that's kind of obvious, right? Well, what about finances? Somehow, some way, a narcissist will get you to talk about your finances. One of the tricks they do after they start a conversation, let's say somebody new, right? So they'll say, well, what do you do for a living? And maybe they'll even tell you first what they do for a living, so getting you to talk. And then they'll start talking about their finances, how much they make a year, so forth and so on, some of their investments. Well, if it's a narcissist, guess what? They're probably lying, or they're exaggerating, or they're embellishing. But the objective is not to inform you of anything, it's to get you to talk about your financial position. So they want to see if you have the resources that they can, well, scam from you somehow, some way. So maybe they'll come back in a month or a year and they have fallen on hard times, so they say. And they just need, $100 to tide them over. They'll say, my son or daughter is having some tough times, just need a couple $1,000. Will you help her out here? Or him out here? They do that. They catfish. The way to stop that at the very beginning, and again, you may not even know they're a narcissist. This could be anybody. But don't talk about your personal finances. How hard is that? How obvious is it? Well, to some of us, I got to say, when a narcissist love bombs you and he or she has won your confidence, it's really easy to share with them what your position is financially. That's dangerous. I don't care how close somebody is, unless you're married to them, don't talk about your finances, period. People ask me what I do for a living. I say, I'm a bum. That's a polite way of saying it's none of your business. Unless they press it, then I'm not so polite. I say, that's confidential. Number 3 is flat out, do not believe them. Once you know this person is a narcissist, whatever you do, do not take their word for anything. Don't take anything at face value because, they've got two faces. So, just the face that you're looking at when you're talking to a narcissist is a mask. They wear a mask all the time. We've mentioned this in many videos. And you guys know this, right? They wear a false face, metaphorically speaking. They wear stage costumes because they're putting on a big act. Everything about them is a lie. They don't just lie, they are a lie. So when you believe them, when you take them at face value, you are believing the mask. And believe me when I say this, the mask is not the real person ever. The mask, rather, is a nice person, a good guy. But this is a person who is, if it's a covert narcissist, they're just flat out evil. They're psychopaths often. They are Machiavellian. They have no effective empathy. They don't care. Something hurts you, they could care less. They may pretend they care because they're trying to win your confidence. But outside of pretense, outside of pretending, they don't care about you. Why in the world would you believe someone like that? That's a good question. I ask myself all the time, what was it about me and what was it about the narcissist? Actually, there were more than one that I believed them. I should not have. And again, going back to what we said at the onset, even people that you're certain are not narcissists still. You got to be on guard. Don't be paranoid, but just be reasonable. Be careful. Number 4 is don't do this. Never expect an apology. So if a narcissist does something to hurt you and you're waiting for the narcissist to come clean and I'm so sorry I did that, not going to happen. The only exception, again, is when they're faking it because it's to their advantage. But they never say they're sorry. They never say they're wrong, let alone say they're sorry. And again, there are exceptions. It's when they're trying to manipulate somebody or they're trying to look good. Number 5 is never expect a repayment. Narcissists tend to be good at catfishing or scamming people or being grifters. They're just nefarious people. And virtually every person out there who is a professional catfisher, you know what I'm talking about, usually they get on the internet, they start a romance with somebody, they don't even know them. Sometimes they even meet these people in person if they're really, really good at it. And they take money from them. Don't worry, I'm going to pay it back. No big deal, but they never do. So don't expect repayment. I've had people, in my life that I've loaned them money. I've helped them out, helped them buy things, and payback. Yeah, I've had a few people pay me back, and they weren't narcissists. They just good, honest people. But one of the indicators that you're dealing with a narcissist is they don't pay you back. So if you make and typically a narcissist will start out by asking some small favor, some small loan. And then they ask for a little bit more. Once they figure out they can dupe you out of $100, they ask for $200, $250, whatever. And they're just testing you. But if they don't pay back that $100 the very first time, cut them off. Just assume it's either a narcissist or somebody with a really, really, really bad memory, or they don't have a conscience, or the crooks. Just don't pay back their loans. Best thing to do is not loan people money in the first place. That's been my experience, but don't expect them ever to pay you back. Not just money, but favors. Number 6, never excuse a narcissist. Now, by that, I simply mean that when I say don't excuse a narcissist, what I'm saying is don't put yourself in a position where you are making excuses for narcissists, because the narcissist may behave like a narcissist because he is a narcissist or she is a narcissist, obviously. And so you got this cognitive dissonance going on in your mind because you know them as the person who love bombed you. And now you are finding out the hard way that this person is a narcissist. And you try to reconcile these two things. We talked about this in another video. Back of the brain this is a good guy. Front of the brain is saying, no, he's doing very bad things. So you're trying to reconcile these things. They cannot be reconciled. But one of the ways we try to reconcile them is we make excuses for them. This is the big mistake that I made too often. I would say, he's down on his luck. He's having a hard time. Well, he'll come around. I'll work with this guy and I'll pull him out of his rut, whatever, just by being nice to them. And sometimes you play, the good Christian card. You're going to be you're thinking of the narcissist as the guy who's wounded and laying on the side of the road, and you're going to be the good Samaritan, right? That's okay. If someone needs help, by all means help them, but this is not a person who's wounded. This is a fake. Or maybe he has pretended to be wounded. Or maybe he actually is wounded, but it's his own making because, he's living a lifestyle where he will not work because he doesn't want to be controlled by anybody because he or she is a narcissist. So the reason they are down on the luck, the reason they are homeless, often, not always, the reason they are always looking for a place to stay, the reason is because they made bad choices because of who they are. So why would you excuse the person? All you are doing when we do that, when we excuse a narcissist, we are enabling them. Now, the number one biggest excuse that I hear when it comes to narcissists is this. You ready? Pay attention. You might want to write this down. Is we will say, they just don't have a filter. They don't have a filter. But we're soft-pedaling it. It's far deeper than that. It's far worse than just not having a filter. They're mean. They destroy people. They hurt people. They trash talk people. And they will be really sweet to other people while they're trying to destroy you, fooling them, and they get away with it all the time. Don't soft-pedal these people ever. Number 7 is, we kind of touched on this one a little bit earlier, and that is just do not confide in them. We talked about earlier, don't trust them and don't confide in them, so we're going to move on from this one, but, if it's confidential information, keep in mind what the narcissist is doing. Either intentionally or unintentionally, I think they just do this by nature, is they're keeping track of everything you tell them. All the personal information. If you happen to share with them somebody hurt you in the past, they'll remember, and they will try to make an allegiance with that other person, make a pact with that other person. They will actually team up and try to hurt you. Yeah, I've seen them do that. That's why I'm saying it. Do they always do it? I don't know, but they have done it to me, so I'm assuming they're going to do it to you too. Don't confide in them. Don't tell them your personal information. You don't even tell them if you once you know it's a narcissist. Well, don't tell them anything if you know it's a narcissist. Number 8 is this: don't bother trying to fix them. There's nothing you can do. This is the way they're hardwired. This is the way they came out. This is the way they were made at the factory. This is the way they are, quote, supposed to work, unquote. You can't fix these people. You can't repair them because that's just the way they are. You know? Supposing you buy, you know what a jack-in-the-box is? Not the restaurant, but the little thing you twist. I don't know why this came to mind. I had to come up with some idea, but you twist a little, what do you call it? Whatever. You turn the little handle on it, and you do it so many times while the music is playing, and then poof, the jack-in-the-box pops out of the box. That scares you, right? It startles you. So, man, I'm going to fix this thing so it won't do that. That's the way it came from the factory. It's supposed to do that. You know, that's what we were saying. When a narcissist is supposed to do something, you can't fix it. Now, a dog, you got a mean dog, you can train a dog. You can take him to a training place unless they have rabies. You can take a dog to a training place and they will help you train the dog so he doesn't run around biting people. You can actually take the dog for a walk and have a pleasant time instead of the dog taking you for a walk. You can't do that to a narcissist. They cannot be trained. They cannot be taught. What they do is so embedded, at least this has been my experience, so embedded in their psyche that, yeah, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to fix them. You can't repair them. You can't set them on a straight path. And, as I've said often, the only thing a narcissist learns is how to be better at the craft of being a narcissist. The more they live, the more they learn. And what they learn is how to screw people better, how to not get caught, how to avoid authorities, how to be more sneaky, how to be more sly. And they're really proud of it. You know, it's kind of like somebody who plays basketball, somebody who loves the sport of basketball, and so they spend their whole time practicing. Well, you get older, it gets a little hard to do, so you play golf. And I know guys, that's kind of like what they live for, to play golf. I don't play golf, but, you know, I'm okay if people want to do that. And, I mean, the more they play, the older they get, the better they are at the game. I hit a hole-in-one once. The first time I played golf, hit a hole-in-one. Hit a hole-in-one. The hole was the lake, you know, I guess you count that. But, no, I don't play golf. But some people, they just get better and better and better and better and better at it. Don't bother to try to compete with them because, well, that's the way they are, you know? So the thing about a narcissist is there's no point in trying to fix them. That's the way they are made. Number 9 is you never give them another chance. Never give them. When you give them another chance, what you're really doing is giving them another opportunity to take advantage of you because you can't fix them. They will pretend to be fixed. They will pretend to have changed their ways. But if it's true narcissist, no, there's nothing to change. They're going to just screw you over again. Number 10 is never fight or argue ever with a narcissist. Just don't do it because they live for it. They love to fight. When you fight with a narcissist, argue with a narcissist, try to put a narcissist in their place, in their way of thinking, they are manipulating you because they got you to fight with them. That gives them supply. That boosts their ego. And the more you fight with these people, the more, you know, they spend, some of these people will spend hours trying to think of ways to get you back. They love it. To them, it's chocolate cake and candy. You know, don't encourage these people. And the best way to encourage or discourage them, rather, is say nothing at all. You know, that's what drives them crazy. Number 11, much the same thing, as that is, never try to prove them wrong. Because, well, the narcissist, he or she never actually thinks that he or she is wrong. Because they are always, always, always right. You are always wrong. And again, it's kind of like arguing with them. You try to tell them, no, you know, this is the way to do it. And you're just trying to be helpful, maybe. I guess you are. Maybe you're mad at them, trying to get them back, but just trying to be helpful. They don't want your help. They would rather be wrong than take your help. And if something goes wrong, well, they just blame you. It doesn't really matter. And if it goes right, they'll take credit for it. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. If it's wrong, the fault's yours. And if it's right, okay, they'll take credit. Number 12 is this: never, ever, ever let your guard down. Now, I've had narcissists who have been in my life in the past, and I haven't seen these people, heard from them for years. But guess what? They're still out there. I mean, I check the obituaries not every day, but at least once a week. And if their name pops up, okay, then maybe then I will let my guard down. But even then, all those nasty rumors they started about you and all that smear campaign garbage, it's still out there long after these people are dead and gone. So even if you see their name and picture in the obituaries, and even if you go to the morgue and say, okay, I gotta see this guy, I gotta prove it, they're not gonna let you in, so don't bother doing that. But it doesn't matter. Still, don't let your guard down, because the talk that they started years ago is still out there. You may think they're ignoring you. No, you're still hot on their mind because you beat them. You walked away from them. You gave them, you went Grey Rock. You just broke off all contact with them. The flying monkeys are worn out. They're tired of, a lot of them have figured this guy out, and they're still unsettled about that. And I think they always will be. At least that's been my experience. Okay, number 13. This is the best one. This is the one we said let's wait for because it's the hot one, and that is never let a narcissist see you sweat. Never let them know they're getting to you, because they love it. Now, one of the things that narcissists do is called duper's delight. We've talked about that in other videos. They take great delight in duping people, and duper's delight emerges after they have discarded you and after it's obvious that you've been scammed, and then they've got the smirk on their face. When you see them, they got the smirk on their face, and there's one narcissist I dealt with in the past, talked about this in several videos, and that is his way of expressing duper's delight after he scammed people is if he would see those people, he would make sure they saw him. I mean, I've watched this guy do it. I didn't know he was a narcissist at the time, but he would pace back and forth in front of these people. Like if he saw them at a restaurant, or saw them at one time we were in a parking lot of a business, and his former boss drove by, and he went out of his way to pace back and forth. He wanted his former boss to see him because now he was helping the competitor. With me, what he would do, one time we went to a funeral, mutual friend, and guess who showed up? The narcissist. So what did he do? He saw me, and he made it certain that I would see him walking back and forth. Duper's delight, his way of saying, I screwed you over. What are you going to do about it? I got you. So never let them see you sweat. And you know what? They don't realize. They don't realize how really, I hate to use the word dumb because it just doesn't sound right. But, they don't realize how ridiculous they are, that they are their own worst enemy. Yeah, I know, as long as I'm alive and all that. But they are hurting themselves. They don't know it. And when they do that duper's delight thing, it's an admission of defeat, but it never enters their mind. 2 rectangles on the screen. Hey, let's keep talking together if you want. Keep hanging out. Click one of those 2 rectangles. The conversation goes on. If not, thanks for stopping by, and we will see you all next time.